He asking the real important question: gas or old school charcoal grill?
Well, you know, the only thing I am really familiar with is that pellet grill. I'm not dead set on another pellet, but it seems to be just the easiest option.
Okay.
But I'll take any suggestions. You know, I'm not shutting anything down here.
Hey, how about Real C texted in on the Country Pleasing text line, and he goes, 0 way possible I participate in Beef's grill search. Do you think I think Real C is saying that is because he's like if it were boats and you go, hey, I need somebody to suggest just a nice little fishing boat. He's suggesting one that costs $80,000, is 22 feet long. You know, it's got a 300 horsepower motor on it.
Yeah, he wants me to buy that $3,000 grill model that I saw yesterday.
Okay, Real C, you're out. Everybody else, get them in here. Grill suggestions for Beef. He needs a new one. However, they had a little ingenuity going on over there and figured out a way to still be able to have good food and have their steaks and sausage and enjoy the 4th. Listen, coming up next, a real treat if everything goes according to plan. The Prince of Neshoba County on the show to talk about what we're going to do tomorrow at the Junction. Stick around.
Inspired by Chuck.
I like adventure, so I'm never in one
I'm Eddie
place for long.
Hawking with Washington County Farm Bureau Insurance.
I'm Scott Rainwater with Farm Bureau Insurance here in Washington County.
I'm Blake Policini with Washington County Farm Bureau.
I'm Brian Street with Farm Bureau Insurance in Washington County, and we are your home team.
I think you know what time it is. It's time to eat. Country pleasing, jalapeno and cheddar, green onion. And no, it's not a grill, see that? But the fire is just about burnt down enough where it's time to put some of this on there. And the only decision when it comes to country pleasing sausage is which flavor, jalapeno and cheddar or maybe green onion. Both.
Break me off a piece of that.
Look at that. You know what that is? That's real green onion. Like that monkey who set his tail on a railroad track. It won't be long now. Country Pleasing sausage, these flavors, and many, many others. Get them online at countrypleasing.com. At a grocery store near you, pretty much anywhere in the Southeast. Walk up in there and say, Country Pleasing, please. They'll know what you're talking about.
Grew up on a family farm out past Leland, just born and raised here in the Mississippi Delta. Never really thought about moving out. You know, it's where my roots are. Our family's a big sports family. It was 4 boys and 1 girl, and all 4 of us boys went and played ball at Delta Community College. My dad, he's always been honestly a role model of mine. He's farmed his whole life. We attend St. James Catholic Church in Leland, where we went to church my whole life, and then now continuing my family, me and my wife and my 3 kids. Being a Christian is everything for me and my family. Being born and raised here in this area, there's just something about this area. I mean, when you pull into it, you don't see a whole lot, but being born and raised here and the farm families and just the people that grew up here, the people that you see here, you see in the grocery store, you go to church with, small town community, you're gonna run into people that you know. It puts a smile on your face knowing that you know the people in your area, in your community. Get to know them as friends and now bring them in to my office here and creating that relationship, extending it on, getting them as insureds, as customers of mine, who I call friend. I'm Blake Policini with Washington County Farm Bureau, and we are the home team.
Y'all heard me talk about Murray West and murraywest.com. They made the hat that I'm wearing. Got the Natchez Trace logo on it. I've told you a little bit about what they are. Contract embroidery company here in Mississippi. Started back in 1996, family owned. They do a phenomenal job, and I got to go visit their place up in New Albany. Let me show you a little bit about it. I say they do quality stuff, they really do. And so custom apparel, team stuff, I mean, really and truly, just about every high school in the state is sending their embroidered, team gear, jackets, shirts, hats, stuff. Baseball teams, football teams, they're sending it to the folks at Murray West in New Albany. You go to their website, murraywest.com, you go to the bottom, you can kind of see some of the
menu full on the Zone 105.9 and worldwide at thezone1059.com.
All right, back with you. I'm Matt in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Farm Bureau, go! The home team. They are your home team at Farm Bureau Insurance all across the great state of Mississippi. Your hometown heroes, that's your local Farm Bureau Insurance agents. Something else you'll find all across the great state of Mississippi are those junction delis. The Junction. You look, I used to go to the one in Louisville there as I was going through, and then one popped up north of me, like up at Guntown, and now they got a brand new one there in the Gluckstadt area. It's on Old Jackson Road. It's actually in Canton there. And then I'd been going for a long time before I realized that logo had a train on it. It's a train logo. And that train will go all the way to the top. And with me, the Prince of Neshoba County. He's Godfather Prince on social media, but you and I know him just as Philip. He's Philip. Philip Prince from the Junction on your radio right now. Philip, man, I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Yeah, we've got faces for radio. I mean, maybe it's voices.
Well, we have that too. That's the unfortunate thing, Philip. We have faces for radio, but we also have voices that are not really made for radio.
Yeah, we lost on both accounts.
We're going to do it though tomorrow, 12 to 2, at the Junction at the Chevron on it's Old Jackson Road in Canton. You take the Sowell Road exit up there, not too far from Germantown High School. That's brand new, isn't it? That location is pretty new.
Oh, yeah, it's brand new. Yes, it'll be the grand opening, and not too far from Nissan. Like you said, it's right off I-55.
Yeah.
You can see the Chevron. It's a beautiful, beautiful blue Chevron.
I don't know if you heard me earlier, Philip.
Heard you twice. It was an echo.
I fixed it though, and get this, you'll appreciate this. During the commercial break, I shut down the old stream. I fired up a new one by rebooting all the computer stuff. It's going again. And Sven in Berlin, Germany, commented on YouTube, and he said, it's all fine now. And just like a good QB, he figured it out. What do you think?
That's right. You got to do it while the fire's hot, too. You did it.
I got him in there before. You're saying before everybody tuned out. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I was about to exit.
I was about to lose you too. I'm sorry, but I held you in there.
Yeah, I was like hanging on, man. I was like, God.
Hey, so some of the deals that are going on tomorrow, while we're there from 12 to 2, you got a great deal also that tomorrow is going to go on from 11 to 4. You get a quarter-pound sausage dog for $1.99 from 11 to 4, 2 per customer. And that's country pleasing?
Oh, it's the best. Yeah, you know that. We're not going halfway.
Yeah.
We're doing the best.
We're
not going to substitute this cheap imitation product, like some cheap sauce. This is the best.
It's the best. You're saying the Junction only has the best. I don't know if this is true or not.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to serve a dog, and if you got all these baseball fans, you go come in there and get a weak hot dog or sausage dog. No, man,
can't do that.
Now you come in there and hey, look, you got to know the slogan. We're going to train your hunger.
Oh, is that the slogan?
Boom.
That's fantastic.
That's one of them. Train your thirst, train your hunger.
We're gonna the Junction with the train logo. We're gonna train your hunger.
I have a face for radio. I've got a mind for radio. That's my mind.
Hey, I don't know if this is true or not, but Nick who I think knows you. We know him as Nick on the Country Pleasing text line, and he texted in the show and he said, "Free pot pies for anybody 6'4" or taller per Philip Prince." Is that true?
Yeah. Well, he's making fun because see in the Carthage location, I have a good friend, and he's Mr. Monday Night. That's his ex name.
Okay.
He went in and got a couple of pot pies, and he actually, I think, happened twice to him, and they didn't put any chicken in it, so they were chickenless pot. So they've never let that down. But if he comes in there tomorrow, he's getting one.
Okay.
If he comes in there, I'm putting 14 pounds of chicken in one pot pie.
We're gonna make up for it all at once. All right. That
it's
sounds
gonna
good.
be just a chicken pot pie, nothing else in it, just chicken.
Hey, but real quick, and I know that this may not be the kind of answer you can do real quick. It's fine. We've got time, but the Prince family and these junction delis that are all over the place in Mississippi. Tell me just a little bit of the history of it, Philip, but also like how many of them are there? Like how many of those stores exist throughout the state?
Yeah, we just have about 10 of the retail locations that we started, probably by the time, right around early 2000s. We're a distribution company mostly. We haul gasoline. Yeah. And then about that time, we said, hey, we're going to run a few of them. And we just pick them up here and there.
Yeah. And
we built probably maybe 2 or 3 of them and just started operating them, ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So we could learn the ins and outs, and we call them dealers, but most of the time somebody would run the store and own the store and various agreements, and we wouldn't have anything to do with the day-to-day operation. So we kind of ventured off into that, kind of to diversify and, like I said, learn and pick stuff up. And so we did that, and that kind of fits me, I guess, as far as my mind. And my brother kind of runs on the other side of it, so we kind of divvy that up.
All right.
A good team, right?
So, you are a good team.
And
speaking
so
of,
we did that. So
speaking
cool.
of,
my dad started, and that's why the train says 1960.
Oh,
he was Dad's an entrepreneur and a visionary, and just a good man. He's forgotten more than I know, and I know that, But he wasn't good. He was great at business, and so just trying to carry that on and do well. That's all you can do, man.
Hey,
the best you can do.
Philip Prince on your radio. Philip, so speaking of team, in the Prince family, the love for the sport of basketball, does it go back to you? Are you sort of the genesis of that?
No, not at all. Well, I actually had I called him Uncle Frank. He was I guess really my dad's uncle. I'm terrible with what that makes him for me, but he actually played at Mississippi A&M, which is Mississippi State University.
Yeah.
And he ended up moving to California, and he was a Golden State Warrior. He never got. He was a fan. He didn't play. He never got to see Golden State make this last run, but he was a hooper, and my dad did not. He didn't. He did not have. He played in high school, and believe it or not, he was in Sugar Lock, Mississippi. Sugar Lock, spell it.
No, right where it is. I think I lost Philip. I think he hung up on me. I heard the beep and then I lost him. Prince, we lost you. If you're still listening to the live stream, I lost you. I know right where Sugar Lock is. Y'all do too, right? On Highway 45. Where would that be? Between Scuba and Macon? Am I getting that right? I know I've been through there a bunch. Anyhow, I tell you what, we might have to pick it up with Philip and he's back. All right, we got you back, Philip. I was explaining to them.
Did I say something that offended you?
No.
Anyway, he was from Sugar Lock, and he played on a dirt court, right?
Oh yeah.
Dirt court.
Yeah.
All right. So, but my brother Eric was the one that hooped, and he was a good high school player, but he's the kind of guy that became a lot better in college, and he didn't like it. He loved it, and he was so good to me to allow me to play with older guys and. Took me around. We did 3. Do you remember the Hoop It Ups?
I do. I sure do. Yeah.
We'd go play those. And, so played at church and things like that. So that was the love. But we're sports lovers. I mean, I give baseball players a hard time, and He played football. I was too skinny to play football. I mean, I was 125 pounds as a senior. I mean, what am I supposed to do out there?
Yeah, right.
I should have been. So, I mean, we love sports, but just basketball was probably in some ways an unholy love. It was but yeah, it's been good to us. We've enjoyed it.
Well, and you still are. And we're running out of time here, but for those listening, we'll have more time to chat with Philip tomorrow at the Junction. The actual address is 410 Old Jackson Road, Canton. It's up there. You take the Sowell Road exit. I think it's exit 114. It's the Junction inside the Chevron, not the Shell, but the Chevron station there, Junction Deli, close to Germantown High School. We'll be there tomorrow, 12 to 2. All kinds of deals going on. Philip's got a daughter who's now playing at Southern Miss, and he's got some sons who are big-time players. And the youngest might turn out to be the best. They gave him a great nickname. I'll tell you what that is tomorrow. So I'm just really looking forward to the whole show with y'all tomorrow. And I hope you'll come out and meet Philip. And he loves for people to ask for autographs, right, Philip?
Oh, yeah, they'll be lined up for that.
But I'm really looking forward to it. Free, that's it. That's the main thing. It'll be free. Yeah. All right.
Really fun. Thank you.
Thank you, Philip. And we'll see you tomorrow, man. Thank you.
Okay. All right. See you soon.
See you. And you heard that, Nick. Not chickenless pot pie tomorrow. You show up tomorrow, there will be more chicken in your pot pie than you can handle. You'll be covered up. You'll have more than you can handle. So looking forward to that tomorrow, live at the Junction, 12 to 2, 410 Old Jackson Road, Canton. That's the official address. See you there. Be square. All right, hour 1 in the books. Hour 2 coming up after this. Stick around.
I'm Eddie Holcomb with Washington County Farm Bureau Insurance.
I'm Scott Rainwater with Farm Bureau Insurance here in Washington County.
I'm Blake Policini with Washington County Farm Bureau.
I am Brian Street with Farm Bureau Insurance in Washington County, and we are your home team.
Y'all have heard me talk about Murray West and murraywest.com. They made the hat that I'm wearing. Got the Natchez Trace logo on it. I've told you a little bit about what they are. Contract embroidery company here in Mississippi. Started back in 1996, family owned. They do a phenomenal job, and I got to go visit their place up in New Albany. Let me show you a little bit about it. When I say they do quality stuff, they really do. And so custom apparel, team stuff, I mean, really and truly, just about every high school in the state is sending their embroidered, team gear, jackets, shirts, hats, stuff. Baseball teams, football teams, they're sending it to the folks at Murray West in New Albany. You go to their website, murraywest.com, you go to the bottom, you can kind of see some of the Prairie Wildlife, Ole Miss Athletics, Gentile, others that they work with. Can't recommend them enough. If you need your logo printed, embroidered, sewn on to anything, custom apparel and other stuff, make sure you go there. Murray West, you can find them online. murraywest.com. That's MURRY West.com.
I had this opportunity come up to a friend of mine that was an agent here at Farm Bureau that, he said this may be something I like to do because he knew I was involved in the community. And what we do, we're supporting the community. We're doing stuff to protect the members of our community. I've been here almost a decade. And what we do, we help people every day through the products we sell. We make recommendations to them, stuff to protect their assets, protect their lives, their families, and we're local. We're local people. Everybody that works in this office has grown up here, lived here, played ball in this community. I've coached in this community, been on the park boards, the sports league boards, the Booster Club boards. The community is what's important here in Farm Bureau. We push the local community. We're a Mississippi company. That's a Washington School team ball from 2019. Greg Wallace was the head coach then, and him and I were really good friends. I've been in Greenville my whole entire life. My family's been here. This is home. I'm not going anywhere. I'm here to support the people of Washington County, protect them. I'm Scott Rainwater with Farm Bureau Insurance here in Washington County. We are the home team.
I think you know what time it is. It's time to eat. Country pleasing, jalapeno and cheddar, green onion. And no, it's not a grill, see that? But the fire is just about burnt down enough where it's time to put some of this on there. And the only decision when it comes to country pleasing sausage is which flavor, jalapeno and cheddar or maybe green onion. Both.
Break me off a piece of that.
Look at that. You know what that is? That's real green onion. Like that monkey who set his tail on a railroad track. It won't be long now. Country pleasing sausage, these flavors, and many, many others. Get them online at countrypleasing.com. At a grocery store near you, pretty much anywhere in the Southeast. Walk up in there and say, "Country pleasing, please." They'll know what you're talking about.
Message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out collection letters.
I was born and raised in Greenville. I've always called Greenville home. This is where I, was raised, went to high school, graduated high school, worked all my life here, leading up to going to college. So even when I moved from Greenville, I always told people, they asked me where you're from, I always said I'm from Greenville. I have mother, father, brother, niece, aunt, all live here in Greenville. So this is home. This is where I, live, and I've just always called it home. Small town, I feel like I could walk in any place tomorrow and know.
Zone1059.com.
All right, back with you. I'm Matt. Hour number 2 of the show. With you, off and running. Here in the Bureau, the Mississippi Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Farm Bureau, go! With the home team. They are your home team at Farm Bureau Insurance. All across the great state of Mississippi. You can be a part of the show. I hope you will be. Text me or call or comment on the live stream. Several things going on here today on this Monday, July the 7th. So, if there is, from a sports perspective, like a college sports perspective, it is sort of like a no man's land, right? Right about now. Everything kind of squarely behind you. You even got the forever, ever months long college baseball season behind you. It's over. And so it's strictly off-season stuff. And practice hasn't started. You haven't even had the media day. Although, not this week, next week, you have the media days thing, and they have changed the name of it. Did you notice that? I think it's called the kickoff now. Hang on. That's what happens when you tell people on live radio, hang on to go look over here and look at a link. You inevitably click the wrong thing. Anyway, I can't find it, but I think it's yeah. All right, here it is. Kickoff. Annual 2025 kickoff media days. They put media days in little letters and the word kickoff in big letters. It's in Atlanta this week, and it's going to be, or this year, and it's going to be next week. The SEC is putting out information saying that they're going to boast. Here it is. They're going to boast nearly 50 hours of original studio programming for the 2025 SEC kickoff presented by Regions Bank, live from Atlanta next week, the 14th to the 17th. But, you know, it's, I don't know how much media really has to do with it. It's all, you know, emanating from the conference. In the recent years, I got to be honest with you, in the recent years, it's become a bigger production, a more slick corporate type of presentation of that event, if you want to call it that. And that has all made it worse. I mean, it's just, I hate to be critical of it because a lot of the people involved with it I really like. But I have said in the past, I do stick by that, you know, the league sort of took it from, you know, in the old days, here we go, old day stuff, from an event that was basically, you know, throwing a bone to local media throughout your league footprint, the states that had local media that covered you, gave them a chance to all convene before the football season, ask a million questions, actually stack up on stories they were going to run throughout the month of August leading up to start football season. And it was doing it for them because your coaches and players, they didn't really want to do it. You know, they found ways to use it to their advantage. But anyway, they took it from that and decided, no, you know, if we're going to go to the trouble to do this, one, it's going to be a TV thing. We're going to kind of service our own TV channel, which is called the network, but it's really just a channel. We're going to service it with TV content and make it something that we can use strictly to the benefit of the league. It's only what it's going to be used for. And so I could kind of see it morphing and changing. I kind of got to the point where, you know, I could see for me it didn't make any sense. It was no longer the benefit no longer could justify what you had to budget in order to go and do it. And so I was out and have been out. And you know, I've looked the last couple of years and thought to myself, well, what is that? What would I do with that? You know, as a fan, what would I do with any of that? What I want it for? You know, another perspective might be like, say, if you're at the beach and this happened, right? Let's just say you're the Wyatts and one year you happen to be on a vacation to the coast and you're spending time on a beach each day and, you know, that whole thing. And that happens to be the week that the media days thing is going on. Well, you might have sometimes where when you're back at the condo, you turn it on and it's sort of your background noise, you know. But that's about it. So, yeah, I don't see it as the thing that they intend it to be now, which is like, you know, this unofficial kickoff to the season sort of marking. It just doesn't do that anymore. And that's fine. Everything's changing too. The real media days now happens in Destin back in May. What SEC football media days used to be, which is this hyper productive 1 week for local media, that's now what SEC spring meetings in Destin are now back in May. This is, I don't know what it is. And I can't for the life of me figure out why any media entity would pay money to go over there. I just can't figure it out. It doesn't make any sense anymore. But then again, they're doing all right. They're not asking my opinion. I don't guess they are. I don't guess they are asking my opinion. So, yeah, we're in a little bit of a no man's land right now from a sports perspective. Now, I do know that state people are still really keeping up with baseball because new coach has been hired, new roster is getting filled out, new transfer news seems to be coming down every other day. And so an example of that is Sven on the YouTube live stream. He jumped back over after I had to stop it and start it earlier because of audio issues. Now it's fine. And we got Sven back. Thanks, Sven. He's over in Berlin. And he says, here is our lineup for the 2026 season. He's talking baseball. He said, and I think these are these batting averages that they bring from a year ago, Sven? I would think that's what it is. Garrick Fry, 340. Teal, the transfer, 317. Sullivan back at 342. Reese, 352. Valencius, 348. It's a Virginia guy. Byers, 407. Kaluski, I guess is how you say that, 303. Bryce Chance, 332. Sanders, 319. He says, that's my starters for 2026 with their batting average. And behind them, we have 5 of the guys batting 300. Well, yeah. I mean, really. And then he said, Sven said 5 weekend guys, Sierra, Valencius, McPherson, Hickson from Rice, and then he says Kirk. He went on to say only O'Sullivan and Fry are in the draft. He says, I didn't include guys like Jack Bauer, 100-mile-per-hour flamethrower out of high school, committed to state, and there are 3 to 4 real prospects there. Yeah. Okay, so sure, I think there's a lot of excitement. There really is. And I know that because all you got to do is look around on social media. I saw a guy somebody that I'm friends with on Facebook, and he shared this thing. I was scrolling through Facebook. This was actually this morning, Sven. I was scrolling through Facebook, and he says, I don't think it was his. He's sharing what somebody else posted, but it's another state fan that posted it. This friend of mine shared it. And it said, I asked Chat GPT to give me, make a video and show me what Mississippi State baseball is going to do next year. And then you watch this little AI video. It's obvious that it's fake, but you watch it and it's a state guy like getting hit by a pitch, and then there's a walk-off because of it, and they hand him the championship trophy. All right. Now, first of all, as laughable as it is to ask ChatGPT, I know it's for fun, but to ask ChatGPT, hey, what's my team going to do next year? As if this will predict the future, first of all. Okay, and then do it in video form. The whole thing's kind of laughable. But it showed me more and more. It's weird how you can say with great confidence that because of the hire of Brian O'Connor, paired with all the transfers coming in, many of them from Virginia, and positive vibe stuff like a kid out of high school who's a big prospect that throws really hard, and some of those things, you can say with great confidence that the expectations for state baseball in the fan base are already through the roof for next season. They are already through the roof. Not so much as a practice yet. And it's you see who's transferring in there. Coach feels positive, and you have people sharing videos of Chat GPT saying State's going to win the championship next year. To say that the expectations are up and high would be an understatement. Okay. Here's another example of that. Sven says, I expect the following: a 20-10 SEC record, at least 45 wins, host a super That's a minimum with the loaded roster. Okay, nothing wrong, Sven, with you or any other State fan having high expectations. None whatsoever. Welcome to the land of let's have high expectations and expect to win the whole thing and all that kind of deal. Right. But to me, it's also a little dubious to go, it's because of a loaded roster. And that's the reason that standing here right now on July 7th, 2025, that I expect championship realm in 2026, strictly because of here we are, loaded roster. And I get it. You're paying a coach all those millions of dollars, and now you've backed the roster with all those millions of dollars to get those players in there. And that's great and everything. But there's a couple, I'm not trying to, with the following statement, Sven, I promise I am not at all trying to have an adverse opinion just to spark an argument or just to say that I'm thinking about things others aren't. I'm not. There's not a thing wrong with being positive and having high expectations and all that. But I'm just being honest with you when I say I look at certain things and I go, wait a minute now. Okay. I want it to work out the same way as you do. I want them in Omaha again, just like you do. I mean, I genuinely do. But then there's part of me that wants to say this, Sven. Okay, let's just say, for example, even more. Even though you've got 7 or 8, how many it is, Virginia players that played for O'Connor over there that have come to State. Let's say you even had more. Well, the thing about that is it's good, and they're good players, and maybe they fill some of the gaps you have in the roster here, and that's great and all, but I mean, they didn't even make the NCAA tournament this last year at Virginia. Again, I'm not trying to go out of my way to be negative and take the positive edge off for anyone. I'm just saying, in reality, loaded roster. Well, it didn't really work out at Virginia for whatever reason. Okay, well, you add them into the pieces you have here. Sure, Sullivan, Reese, Chance, some of these players. Yeah, I mean, it does look nice. But here's the other reality of it is, it's the Southeastern Conference. And I know I have a ton of respect for ACC teams and ACC programs and the ACC as a baseball league. Okay, and a lot of their success and stuff speaks for itself. But it's not the SEC. You could find a lot of different ways to back all that up. Right? I mean, here's now, maybe there's a little hubris in this statement, but here's one. None of those guys who transferred to State from Virginia, from an ACC school, none of those guys were even in high school the last time an ACC team won the national championship. They weren't even in high school yet. And so when we look at batting averages and stuff, I know they have good arms in the ACC. Like, it's, compared to the rest of the country, it's really good. It's not the SEC. ACC arms week in and week out, it's not what you see in the SEC. And so I want to see it first, I guess is what I'm saying. A guy that can hit, he hits 340 at Virginia. I want to see him hit 340 at the end of an SEC season. Those kinds of things. And I hope I don't come across as an example of a fan who wants to tamp down expectations or temper them so as to not be disappointed. That's not it. I'm trying to look at it pragmatically and go, all right, against the SEC, it's never, ever going to, well, here's another, it's always going to be more difficult than you think it is. Always. Every year for every team. Including this year for first year Brian O'Connor and this team that you're going to piece together through the transfer portal. It does look great on paper. The roster is going to be good. And, man, I want it to come together. I want it to pop because I can tell you, I made this statement too. Sven, as a State fan, given what you've had to watch on the field the last few years, so would that be 22, 23, 24, and 25? And in 24, you were a postseason team, and you were this year too. But 22 and 23, you weren't. But really, even all 4 of those years, the last 4 years, Finn, as a State fan, what you've had to watch is this consistently. One of the worst base running teams, one of, and for a good portion of the year, every year, the worst fielding team, and making up for it with what? They really hit the ball well. And this year they really hit it well. And even last year, in the middle of that lineup, Dakota Jordan and Hunter Hines, you made up for it with that kind of stuff. And the addition of Justin Parker taking over your pitching staff, that really was a miracle worker in terms of what he did with the staff. But in all these small things, fundamental things of the game, base running, fielding, handling bunt situations, handling first and third less than 2 outs, in the field. And like you say, the basic base runnings and all the fundamental stuff that has to be wound tightly, that in years past, over the course of decades, Sven, as a State fan, because of guys like Ron Polk and Pat McMahon and John Cohen, right? Over the course of decades, where even in years when your roster wasn't as good as some of the others, and maybe you didn't have the chance to win it all, they were really sharp in all the fundamentals and the small things. They were always a great fielding team. They were always, like, you'd point to those Ron Polk teams in terms of base running. They had all the fundamental stuff, man. They had it ironed out, and you become accustomed to looking at that. Like, we're not going to beat ourselves because we can't field ground balls. We're not going to beat ourselves because we're constantly getting thrown out at third base and rounding third and running through signs and getting thrown out at home and getting caught in rundowns and all this kind of stuff, getting picked off. We're not going to beat ourselves with that stuff. So the reason I'm laying all this out for you is when they run out there this next February under Brian O'Connor, a guy with all this experience, the big things, the pitching, the strikeout numbers, who's your closer, your home run numbers, power number, all these kind of stuff, that stuff will take care of itself to a degree. But if that team is sharp, I'm talking about the first game, if you can lay eyes on it and tell, all right, this is a tightly wound operation. They are sharp on the infield. I know they got this transfer coming in from wherever he's coming from at shortstop. They are sharp on the fielding ground balls. They turn double plays. They're smooth. They feel every fundamental thing, they're handling it right. They're a step ahead. Base running, right? Sharp and all that fundamental stuff. State fans are going to right then in the first game just jump completely 100% behind it and root for it. I mean, and be all in. It's going to, if that is the product they put on the field beginning with the first game, there'll be no doubt, and it'll reinforce everybody's optimism. But if they're not, I don't know. I guess what I'm saying, Sven, is I'm not trying to pour water on anybody's enthusiasm for the year. And it is a good roster, and it does feel good as a State fan. He's coach, and he's bringing people in. And it seems like you're getting who he wants, and that feels good and everything. But pragmatically, you gotta weld it all together through outworking people. And I'm looking at it too from, if I'm in the clubhouse and I'm a coach or a player, absolutely, if I was a part of it, my message would be, if you think we're just going to out-talent, but you think we got talent? Like, everybody's got talent. And if we're not every day, weight room, every way. Tunnel. If we're not out working people, we're going to get beat. I don't care who transferred in here. You better outwork people, and you better do the fundamentals better. And you better do it for a long time, or else the SEC will eat your lunch. Stick around. Back after this.
This is Jake May.
I'm Eddie Holcomb with Washington County Farm Bureau Insurance.
I'm Scott Rainwater with Farm Bureau Insurance here in Washington County.
I'm Blake Policini with Washington County Farm Bureau.
I'm Brian Street with Farm Bureau Insurance in Washington County, and we are your home team.
I think you know what time it is. It's time to eat. Country pleasing, jalapeno and cheddar, green onion. And no, it's not a grill, see that? But the fire is just about burnt down enough where it's time to put some of this on there. And the only decision when it comes to country pleasing sausage is which flavor, jalapeno and cheddar or maybe green onion. Both.
Break me off a piece of that.
Look at that. You know what that is? That's real green onion. Like that monkey who set his tail on a railroad track. It won't be long now. Country Pleasing sausage, these flavors, and many, many others. Get them online at countrypleasing.com. At a grocery store near you, pretty much anywhere in the Southeast. Walk up in there and say, Country Pleasing, please. They'll know what you're talking about.
Grew up on a family farm out past Leland, just born and raised here in the Mississippi Delta. Never really thought about moving out. You know, it's where my roots are. Our family's a big sports family. It was 4 boys and 1 girl, and all 4 of us boys went and played ball at Delta Community College. My dad, he's always been honestly a role model of mine. He's farmed his whole life. We attend St. James Catholic Church in Leland, where we went to church my whole life, and then now continuing my family, me and my wife and my 3 kids. Being a Christian is everything for me and my family. Being born and raised here in this area, there's just something about this area. I mean, when you pull into it, you don't see a whole lot, but being born and raised here in the farm families and just the people that grew up here, the people that you see here, you see in the grocery store, you go to church with, small town community, you're gonna run into people that you know. It puts a smile on your face knowing that you know the people in your area, in your community. Get to know them as friends and now bring them in to my office here and creating that relationship, extending it on, getting them as insureds, as customers of mine, who I call friend. I'm Blake Policini with Washington County Farm Bureau, and we are the home team.
Y'all have heard me talk about Murray West and murraywest.com. They made the hat that I'm wearing. Got the Natchez Trace logo on it. I've told you a little bit about what they are. Contract embroidery company here in Mississippi. Started back in 1996, family owned. They do a phenomenal job, and I got to go visit their place up in New Albany. Let me show you a little bit about it. I say they do quality stuff. They really do. And so custom apparel, team stuff, I mean, really and truly, just about every high school in the state is sending their embroidered, team gear, jackets, shirts, hats, stuff. Baseball teams, football teams, they're sending it to the folks at Murray West in New Albany. You go to their website, murraywest.com, you go to the bottom, you can kind of see some of the prairie wildlife.
Zone 105.9 and coming to you worldwide at thezone1059.com.
All right. Back with you. I'm Matt, staying connected to you because of C-Spire, the #1 network in Mississippi. C-Spire, customer inspired. Check them out at cspire.com. Listen, I'll see you tomorrow. Y'all join me from 12 to 2 at the Junction. The Junction. I keep wanting to say Gluckstadt. I mean, it's up there. It's not far from Gluckstadt, and it's not far from Germantown High School. You take the Sowell Road exit. I think it's exit 114. The actual address of the Junction is the Chevron / the Junction Deli. It's 410 Old Jackson Road in Canton. You can see it from the highway up there. And join me tomorrow, 12 to 2. There's all kinds of stuff that's going to be going on. And my man Philip's going to be there. We'll talk some basketball, have a good time. They got country pleasing sausage. They got sausage dogs. You'll be able to pick up sausage link or patties there, 99 cents, 2 per customer while you're there. You'll get a free dessert during that time while we're there with a plate lunch. You can get cobbler or brownie. You just pick it. Free dessert tomorrow if y'all come by and get lunch at the Junction. Quarter-pound sausage dog from Country Pleasing. That's right. That'll be $1.99. They'll do that tomorrow from 11 to 4. You can get 2 of those per customer. And can you, I don't mean just make a shot with a basketball on a Nerf basketball goal. I don't mean just make the shot, but if you can swish the net, like no rim, swish, nothing but net. Then you could win a free gas card, a gift card. There's all kinds of free merchandise, cups, all kinds of other stuff. And all you got to do, come to the Junction tomorrow, make a shot. Don't just make it. We don't want it rattling around. No bank shots. No, we're talking nothing but net. You go nothing but net, make the shot. You're getting free stuff. 12 to 2 tomorrow. That's right. The Junction Deli. It's at the Chevron, the actual address, 410 Old Jackson Road in Canton. You can see it from the interstate. If you're headed north on 55, I think it's exit 114, Sowell Road exit. I'll see you there tomorrow, 12 to 2. Be there or be square. All right, J-Rock, he texted the show. He said, hey, Matt, we will have a good roster, but so will about 8 or 10 teams in the SEC and some more around the country. Not to forget, we've loaded rosters before, and we won one championship, 125 years. Slow down a little bit. Well, see, that's kind of where I am, and I am not at all, J-Rock, the last thing I want to come across as is someone who's trying to beat back positive vibes and momentum and expectation among, my fellow state fans. That's not, I don't want to be that. But I also at the same time must be honest when I look at it, because I'm like you, I want to go, I mean, that's great. It's almost like getting a talented roster, not just 1 through 9, but, right, but you're talking about your pitching staff and everything else. And, role guys, or if you have any platoon going on, getting that roster that's sort of an elite-ish type of roster as compared to most of the rest of the country, that's just a starting point. That's really what that is. It's a starting point in the SEC. And then it's about, what light bulb comes on for what guy this year. How healthy is everybody, particularly pitching staff, right? I mean, it really does come down to those kinds of things. And like I was talking about, J-Rock, also with all of those fortunate things, you control what you can control, which is how proficient and consistent you are in all the little things that people don't care about talking about. We're talking power numbers and home run numbers and slugging. We're not talking about fielding percentage that much. Well, be the worst fielding team in the league, and let's see how that goes. You're losing games because of it. Be the worst base running team. I'm sure if you're a big time prospect, right, and you've already been drafted, you went to college, you get millions of dollars to play college baseball, you're gonna get millions again when they draft you, all that. Okay, and you can put on a laser show out of the batting cage and you're going to hit 15 home runs against great competition. I'm sure it's fun to do everything with a bat in your hand. But listen, at that level, if a coach can't, impress upon those group of guys how important it is to practice and work and outwork other teams in all the boring stuff, then all those little boring things, quote unquote, are going to get you beat. That's what happened to State the last 4 years. So I just want to see a lot of that first. And then when I see it, not that that'll be the difference of me getting on the wagon or not. It's like it'll be like a breath of fresh air, I think. RT said, if I ever get on the show Jeopardy, I hope 2025 MSU baseball is a subject. My man has heard enough. He has had enough. RT's sitting over there with his head in his hand right now saying, it is July the 7th and we're still doing this. I understand. I totally understand. But I mean, really, that's part of your answer, though, RT, if that's you. I mean, it's July the 7th, okay? And look, if you're looking for a preview of like SEC Media Days, that's going to happen next week. I sincerely apologize, but this ain't it. This is not your show. I won't even talk about it when it's going on. Hey, look, Boomer Sooner. They have a great fight song because it's snappy, it's catchy, and you only have to know like two words. Boomer Sooner says, Matt, MSU fans are the only SEC fan base that wants to talk baseball in July. He says, have they already thrown the towel in on football? I think it's a fair question. I don't think anybody has thrown the towel in on football. I think it's just Boomer Sooner. I kind of think it just is what it is. You know, they are in total burn it down, rebuild it mode. And last year they barely even got started on that. It was so bad. And you know, they're going to be a much better football team in some respects this year than they were a year ago. It's just it was so bad in some respects a year ago. I'm not sure I don't know what that means in terms of wins and losses and stuff. Not to mention, you know, Florida is the only team in the country that's got a tougher schedule. And yeah, so it's they're still, state football was in the wilderness, squarely out in the middle of the wilderness. Not only did they not know where they were, nobody else could find them. And since they have made some hand-fashioned tools and instruments and are hacking their way out of there. That's what they're in the process of doing right now. They are cutting their own path out of it, just slashing away, making new roads. All right? And so it is what it is, and they're going to try to do it again this year it's an absolutely brutal schedule. So I don't think anybody's thrown in the towel. It's just an is what it is situation right now. And we'll see. But the other side of that too, Boomer Sooner, and I think you know this, but the baseball thing is just different here. I have, you know, living in Mississippi now for well over 20 years. That, you know, it'd be what? A little over 20 years as a working adult, but probably that well over 20 years if you include college and playing football and stuff. But, you know, that's one thing I have learned here. It is a whole different animal in this state. Look it up. I don't know how to explain it or what, but you can trust the numbers on it. There is no other state in the country that supports college baseball like the people in this state. It's not just state fans. State and Ole Miss both are in the top 5 highest, attendance, right, for college baseball. When I say top 5, it may even be top 3. I mean, and they certainly are on certain weekends, but consistently year after year, they're top 4, top 5, both of them in attendance. That's 2 places 90 miles apart. When you extrapolate it on out to top 12, top 15 best attended baseball schools in the country, Southern Miss is in that. They're in Hattiesburg. They're 6,000, 7,000 a game. And all of that is in a state with a grand total of less than 3 million people that live in the entire state of Mississippi. Nobody supports it, or per capita or any other way. Certainly per capita, it's not even close. It's the hunger for it and the love for college baseball in this state, it's incredible. It is a year-round thing. It's different. I used to joke with my friends who are on the radio in Alabama, which is my home state, and I said, if you all talk college baseball on the radio in Alabama, you get fired for talking about it. In Mississippi, if you don't talk college baseball on the radio, you'd get fired for not talking about it. It's a different animal altogether. Stick around.
This is Jake Mangle, former Mississippi State Bulldog. On the
I'm
field,
Eddie Holcomb with Washington County Farm Bureau Insurance.
I'm Scott Rainwater with Farm Bureau Insurance here in Washington County.
I'm Blake Policini with Washington County Farm Bureau.
I am Brian Street with Farm Bureau Insurance in Washington County, and we are your home team.
I think you know what time it is. It's time to eat. Country pleasing, jalapeno and cheddar, green onion. And no, it's not a grill, see that? But the fire is just about burnt down enough where it's time to put some of this on there. And the only decision when it comes to country pleasing sausage is which flavor, jalapeno and cheddar or maybe green onion. Both.
Break me off a piece of that.
Look at that. You know what that is? That's real green onion. Like that monkey who set his tail on a railroad track. It won't be long now. Country Pleasing sausage, these flavors, and many, many others. Get them online at countrypleasing.com. At a grocery store near you, pretty much anywhere in the Southeast. Walk up in there and say, Country Pleasing, please. And they'll know what you're talking about.
Grew up on a family farm out past Leland, just born and raised here in the Mississippi Delta. Never really thought about moving out. It's where it's where my roots are. Our family's a big sports family. It was 4 boys and 1 girl, and all 4 of us boys went and played ball at Delta Community College. My dad, he's always been honestly a role model of mine. He's farmed his whole life. We attend St. James Catholic Church in Leland, where we went to church my whole life, and then now continuing my family, me and my wife and my 3 kids. Being a Christian is everything for me and my family. Being born and raised here in this area, there's just something about this area. I mean, when you pull into it, you don't see a whole lot, but being born and raised here and the farm families and just the people that grew up here, the people that you see here, you see in the grocery store, you go to church with, small town community, you're gonna run into people that you know. It puts a smile on your face knowing that you know the people in your area, in your community. You get to know them as friends and now bring them in to my office here and creating that relationship, extending it on, getting them as insureds, as customers of mine, who I call friend. I'm Blake Policini with Washington County Farm Bureau, and we are the home team.
Y'all have heard me talk about Murray West and murraywest.com. They made the hat that I'm wearing. Got the Natchez Trace logo on it. I've told you a little bit about what they are. Contract embroidery company here in Mississippi. Started back in 1996, family owned. They do a phenomenal job, and I got to go visit their place up in New Albany. Let me show you a little bit about it. when I say they do quality stuff, they really do. And so custom apparel, team stuff, I mean, really and truly, just about every high school in the state is sending their embroidered, team gear, jackets, shirts, hats, stuff. Baseball teams, football teams, they're sending it to the folks at Murray West in New Albany. You go to their website.
Losing the game. You're going to hear about them all and get to talk about it with Matt Wyatt right here, right now on the Zone 105.9 and worldwide at thezone1059.com.
Back with you, I'm Matt. A little bit of time left with you here today on this Monday. Really looking forward to this time tomorrow, 12 to 2 at the Junction up there on Old Jackson Road in Canton. You can get there at exit 114 off I-55. We'll be there from 12 to 2. The Junction and the Junction Deli. It's at the Chevron, not the Shell, but the big Chevron. They're a brand new place, brand spanking new. Part of those Junction Delis you can find all over the state. My man Philip and some of his friends and family and cohorts and all are going to be there. We're going to have a basketball shooting contest on a Nerf goal, get some free stuff, lots of prizes, lots of discounts on country pleasing sausage that day, tomorrow. He even said free dessert if you come in on that time and get a plate lunch. Does that include me? Somebody ask Philip if that includes me. So I'm really looking forward to seeing y'all there tomorrow at the Junction. Regarding baseball, Sven reminded me, okay, we're talking about the beginning of next year. State goes to this, is it Amagi Bank College Baseball Series in Arlington, Texas, February 27th through March 1st. You're also going to have Arizona State, Tennessee, Texas A&M, UCLA, Virginia Tech in there. That is going to be fun to follow, isn't it? Yeah, it's really going to be fun to follow. Hey, if you were following along last week before we were out a couple of days for July 4th holiday, Beaver and I were talking about eating those ice cream sandwiches they have in the cooler. Somebody brought in ice cream sandwiches into the radio station. And I was trying to remember a minute ago, Beaver, how many bites it took me to eat that ice cream sandwich when I was with you last Tuesday. Do you remember? Was it 6 or was it 5? I couldn't remember what the number was.
5.
Okay. So someone challenged me and said it was going to be 6 or less, and I ate an ice cream sandwich in 5 bites. Now, Beaver, later that day, you stepped up to the plate. You took one of those ice cream sandwiches, and you were trying to go less than 5 bites, correct?
Yeah, I was trying to go specifically 3.
That was it. And y'all, this is a regular size ice cream sandwich. And when I did 5 bites, that's about it for me. My man was trying to go 3 bites on an ice cream sandwich. What was the final total, Beaver, on number of bites it took you to eat that thing?
4.
4.
That
Man.
did not make my goal.
Yeah, but still, though. Beaver, that's one of those shoot for the stars, you might hit the moon thing. Or vice. Which is it? Did they say it the other way around? I can't remember. Maybe it's vice versa. Shoot for the moon, you'll hit the stars. I mean, you had your sights set on 3, but still you ate an entire ice cream sandwich in 4 bites. Beav, that last bite, would you describe it as about as big a bite as you could possibly handle?
Yeah. It was.
Well, I just admire you. Anybody who can competitively step. Oh, and on that note, Beaver, July 4th, did you watch Joey Chestnut?
No, I didn't. I didn't get to see it. I'm kind of flipping on the hot dog eating contest. I'm kind of thinking it's a little more disgusting than I've always thought.
Right. So you have watched it before, though, right?
Oh yeah, a bunch.
Well, I must admit I'd never watched it before, and I think maybe like a highlight here or there on television over the years is the only thing. I never tuned in to watch it. We were visiting my dad down in Dothan, Beaver, he told me, he's like, you got to see this. And so he went and found it on his TV, rewound it, and we watched the whole thing. And man, disgusting is one accurate word on this deal. And Beaver, I don't know if you noticed this in the past, but it's not like here's a hot dog in a bun and they eat that. He separates them and he wads the bun up in his hand and then like dunks it down in water and mashes it. Have you noticed that?
Yes, because at one point many years ago, I was roped into one and I tried that method. And a soggy bun is absolutely disgusting.
It's disgusting.
Like the texture is meh.
Right. It's disgusting. How can anybody, Beaver? His official count the other day was 70. In 10 minutes, it was 70 hot dogs. So he's 2 at a time shoving the hot dog, the links in his mouth and like inhaling those 2 at a time, while taking the buns, dipping them in water, mashing them up into this goo, and then swallowing that. 70 hot dogs in 10 minutes. And how does anybody live through that is what I want to know. I can't quite wrap my head around that. I'll be honest with you. Beav, okay, call me counterculture too. Really, talk some sense into me, Beav. Why are we celebrating that? Is it really a heck of an accomplishment?
There's something to it. If you can eat that much food that quickly, you deserve to win these contests. You deserve. Hey, people have to make money. Make money however you can, and if you make money by eating, I like to make money by eating.
Hey, but he makes a lot of it apparently.
Yeah.
You know what, Beav? They asked him. They said, "What was the key to winning this one today?" He said, "Showing up."
True.
How about that?
That's all he has to do these days.
I'm wondering the other contestants, what did they have to do to qualify for that? Or can you just enter? You know, I don't know. Anyway, Beav, hats off to you on the 4 bites on the ice cream sandwich.
Thank you.
And
it's not quite chestnut level though.
No.
You think he could do it in one?
No doubt. Okay, but again, he'll never do that because it's cold. A cold ice cream sandwich would really probably hurt.
Yeah, it'd mess you up.
That'd mess you up, B. Hey, but when you sent me that video, I just want to tell you, props on the wall decorations. Let me just say that.
That's all you. I remember now. You sent me a text after saying all I could see was this. Because I have a framed, what you speak of, is I have a framed picture of Costanza from the episode when Kramer's taking pictures of him when Costanza's in his underwear on that couch.
Beav, let me just tell you what happened though earlier today. So I have all these here in the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. I have all these monitors. I don't think I've ever shown you this, but it's not just like a laptop and one computer. There's several monitors. One of them is a pretty good size external monitor over here, and half the screen is the text messages on my personal, as Andy Bernard would call it, my personal cell phone device from C-Spire. Okay, so it's clearly visible there. Well, one of the last things, you can still see it on the screen right now, is that a giant picture of that George Costanza posing on the couch in nothing but his underwear when Kramer took that picture in Seinfeld. Because I sent that to you, right? The other day. Well, it's still there, present, in the scroll of text. So, and Annabeth walks by a minute ago. She's walks by, disappears. Then all of a sudden she pops back into the door, like leans back into the door with this look on her face and just points at that computer over there because all she can see from a distance, which she doesn't have good vision from a distance. All she can see is a man in his underwear posing on the couch, and he's on my computer screen over here. and then she points at it, and I go to commercial break, and I said, "Hey, come here." And I tell her what it is, and she's like, "Oh, okay." It was slightly comical. And George and Kramer both would have been able to appreciate that. Yeah, man. 4 bites on one ice cream sandwich. If y'all are listening, you think you can beat that? No. Don't make yourself sick and don't hurt yourself. But Beaver can do it in 4 bites. That was pretty impressive. Oh, and look, Robbie, okay, thanks for your text, Robbie. He says, Matt, I'm late getting in from the lake, but buddy, those country pleasing hot dogs are such a hit. He said they are fire. He's the one who went to Country Meat Packers, where Country Pleasing comes from in Florence, and bought 3 packages of the skinless, if you will, hot dogs or sausage dogs. They're the sausage dog, link size, and it has no casing. So casingless sausage dogs. He got 3 cheese, original, and then jalapeno and cheddar. I'm super jealous. Bad. Want to get my hands on those things before heading off to the coast later this month. All right, that's enough today. We'll see y'all tomorrow at the junction, 410 Old Jackson Road, Canton. Take the Sowell Road exit. It was exit 114. It's the Chevron over there. That's the junction, and we'll see you there from 12 to 2. See you then. See ya.